Unix environments, to lock down a workstation. Now, just quickly remember that the way Deep Freeze works, once you install it, you install all of your software, you configure everything the way that you want it, and then you install it and you freeze the system. And then if you put it out in public, say it's a school or an office, any changes made to that computer in a frozen state would be undone once you reboot it, or if you simply power it down and power it back up. Now this is a big time saver in a situation like a school or a public library or just a large company, because typically you'll have hundreds or even thousands of computers sitting out in public unsupervised. And these computers would very quickly fill up with spyware and malware just from people going to naughty websites or plugging in their infected flash drives or using infected CD-ROMs and things. They would become a breeding ground for worms and viruses. And you would spend all day just going around cleaning off malware and spyware and viruses and trying to undelete files that someone had deleted or broken. And it would be an administrative nightmare if you didn't have a program like Deep Freeze to manage a large public network. So it's a great tool because it simplifies management, and you just hit the power button. And now you can once you install it, you can make changes. You can boot into what's called a thawed state, and then you can uninstall software. You can install new programs and things and make changes. Also, typically what you'll usually do is you'll freeze, say, one partition that the operating system's on, but you'll leave other partitions that you make on that same hard drive thawed out, so that you can boot it up and the operating system partition's frozen, but you can still download and save data and things and your work to the thawed out partitions. And you can even put it all in one partition and create what's called a thaw space with Deep Freeze, such that that whole partition's frozen, but a certain amount of allocated space is thawed out where you can save data and save changes, even in a frozen state. So it's a great tool.
Freez is a free, open-source Debian package similar to Deep Freeze and may be used on Linux as an alternative.
Well, we looked at installing Lathe, which is a free open-source alternative, and this is another tool that you can use that has maybe a bit more feature-rich, or a little bit more like Deep Freeze. And so another free open-source tool.
1. Add the repository for Freez use, sudo add app repository, ppa. tldm217/tehutech.net.
You can do sudo, and before we install it, I need to add the repository. And actually, I've already added the repository, but I'm going to do it one more time. So, in case the first time, when you install this, you may need to add this repository here. Let me zoom in a little bit. That way, maybe you can see that better. Just to be able to find the package, okay? And it's a personal package archive. So I'm going to go ppa : and it's tldm217. At least for now, it is for Ubuntu. Now, if this changes in the future, just Google it. Google for Freez, and Ubuntu. But right now, it's at tehutech.net. All right. And so I need to go out and find that personal package archive, and if necessary, you would have needed to add the key. And again, I've already added it, but if you haven't added it yet, then you'll need to do this first.
2. Update your repositories. Use sudo apt-get update.
Okay, and then once you do that, I'm just going to clear the screen here. I need to go ahead and update my repositories. So sudo apt-get update. And just any changes I've made in sources or repositories, I would want to do there. And okay. And now, a little too big. Let me see if I can slide this up here. There we go.
3. Install Freez. Use sudo apt-get install Freez.
Okay, and now I just want to install the package. So sudo apt-get install. And the package name is Freez. And there are multiple languages, so I want to install the English language version. For me, that's easiest because it's sort of my native language there. Alright, so it's installed. If prompted, say yes.
4. Run the program. Use sudo Freez.
Now that it's installed, I'm going to run it, and I want to use root privileges, so I'm going to say sudo Freez and English. And notice what I can do here. I can freeze the system for this user. In this case, I'm logged in as C Germany. I can freeze it for a specified user or series of users. I could freeze it for all users. I could unfreeze the system or view the status of the system. So let me look at the system status. And the system is not locked yet. Alright. Run it again. And this time I'm going to freeze the system for all users. So I'm going to select option 3. And in this case, system was successfully freezed. Please restart your computer now. So I'm going to do sudo and reboot. Okay, and now I've rebooted my system. And again, let me just kind of blow this up a little bit. And now, let me run it again. And where to view the status, system has been locked. And so now any changes made to this system are only temporary, they're not permanent. So were something to get past my firewall, my antivirus software, my root jail, my ultimate last line of defense or bastion against disaster and catastrophe is the fact that for most daily activities I can run my system in a frozen state. I don't really need to make permanent changes to it. And on the few occasions where I do need to make a permanent change here and there, uninstall something or install something new or change something, I simply have to boot into a thawed state. And so to do that, I would run Ofrice again. And just like you would if you were using Pharonics Deep Freeze, I need to thaw the system out. So I'm going to unfreeze the system at this point. It's locked. I'm going to choose option 4. And system was successfully unfreezed. And now again, I would just, reboot my system.